Hello, this is Tracy, the Artsy Gardener. Thank you so much for tuning in and watching. In today's episode, we are going to be looking at my gardens in the fall. It's the middle of October and things are starting to change. I'm going to have to start winterizing, but let's have a look at my gardens. We're starting the fall garden tour with these cone flowers or echinacea. I love the coloring. So far, so good with them. I'm quite happy. This I left to stick in for my foxglove. It is a hybrid, and I wanted to see if they were going to reseed in that area. But so far, I'm finding some seedlings right here. So I'm keeping the stick in just so I know what type of variety it is. My hydrangeas are looking crispy. I did start drying them out, but once they start getting to that point where it sounds like paper, they say, cut it and it makes for great dried flowers, and so far so good. So here's some other little seedlings that I'm just letting go. I didn't mulch this season. I didn't do it at all this whole summer, spring. I know it's a sin, but I didn't do it. Sue me, I didn't do it, lazy gardener. So see how I styled in threes? I always feel like styling should always be in threes. I made that birdhouse in my last video, so if you want to see how I did it totally free, there it is. So this is a Cosmo. I wasn't sure when this first started coming up. Well, those are weeds, but I wasn't sure what this was at first. And it is a Cosmo, and it did bloom gorgeously. It's a nice hardy plant, so I definitely give that my stamp of approval. Cosmos, A+. And fun fact, so see how the moss is growing on the tree here. If you're ever in the forest, they say if moss is growing on one side of the tree, it's usually the north side, just in case you're ever in a situation. Here's some more foxglove that have reseeded. Again, just picking up some little debris. And now I'm going to mark it so then I don't forget in the spring when I'm like, is this a weed or is this a foxglove? Gardening is a lot of trial and error. So here I have some canna lilies. Those are those long ones in the back, also with some irises, and then there's hellebore. Yeah, it's a trial and error. Those canna lilies did not bloom, but I did just plant these alliums, a nice little cluster of 3 different types of alliums. Hopefully the squirrels don't dig them up. I have planted them before and nothing came up. So I have heard though that squirrels don't like the allium bulbs, so I'm not sure what actually happened to my bulbs. Here is my standard hibiscus annual. I'd gotten this from a plant fair that my kids were having at school, and look at all these buds that are ready to happen. It's just getting too cold out there. You'll see later on in the video, I do start spraying it with some neem oil to try to get him ready to be winterized to come inside. Those are some daylilies that my mother-in-law gave me, so I can't wait for those to come back. I'm really anticipating like a nice bloom in the spring, and it's very exciting. So I'm back on this side again. That's a columbine that I forgot to mention that I had gotten from clearance, and he did really good this season, as well as I planted some alliums on that side too to just really balance out that garden. So here we are in my side back garden by my fire pit shed area. I do have some seedlings coming up of some foxgloves that I did sprinkle in, but this is pretty much my wildflower garden. I have a lot of black-eyed Susans here, and I am letting them go to seed just because it is my wildflower, so to speak, garden. I did plant some alliums in there and some irises because I really like yellow and purple together. I really feel like that's a great combo for the garden. And you'll see I have a whole bunch of hostas in there to just try to cover the ground a little bit. Here's the irises here, and then I have a hydrangea. That hasn't bloomed in like 2 years. I had replanted it. It wasn't doing too good. So hopefully next year, come spring, he's really gonna shine. Here are some more irises that I planted. I think this will look really nice. I'm kind of happy about it. And then along here, this is my shed here. It's ugly. I know, guys. I know. But I did plant some daylilies in there, as well as some irises that I need to actually get back in the ground a little more. And I have hostas all around. Here's a canna lily that did do really good there, but I'm going to have to dig that up to winterize it. And here are the alliums on this side that I think will really come up nicely to really show that purple love in the garden there with all the yellow. So I have a game plan. In this area here, I did plant some alliums. You'll see I do a nice little close up right here of where they're at. But I did get a whole bunch of tulip bulbs. A local farm at the end of spring had you dig for $25, you dig up tulip bulbs. So I have like 300, not even kidding. I gave a lot to like friends and family, but in this whole area along my shed area there where it does not look so pretty, I'm going to be planting a lot of tulip bulbs. So I'm really excited for that for the spring. It's nice to have goals, you know? Let's continue the tour in my front garden beds. So here is my birds of paradise. I do keep them inside during the winter. And here are some purple heart tradescantia. Those really took off with the humidity at the end of the summer. So I do some clippings of those because I do like to have them. And here is a castor oil plant. This is one of my newest purchases. Those seeds and everything is so poisonous. I'm going to be putting it in a new pot and then keeping it. I'm going to try to winterize it in like my studio, just away from the kids and make sure nothing happens. So in this area here, I do have some lilies in there. And look at these elephant ears. Like they are show stoppers. They are huge. These leaves are so big. I started with one bulb that I'd bought at Walmart like 3 years ago. That one bulb went into 2 bulbs. Then the 2 bulbs went into 4. And now I have 6 elephant ears and they are multiplying where I look down at the stem and they have 2 each that I'm going to be able to divide up. That I'm going to have like 12 elephant ears. I think I already promised some of my friends. I was like, yeah, I'll give you a bulb. So in this side area here by my steps, I did plant some Shasta daisy seeds in June. They didn't really grow, but now they're starting to kind of take off. So I am excited for spring for them to really bloom and show what they got. I do like balance in my garden. So on the opposite side of the steps, I did plant some Shasta daisies in here too. Again, I'm so looking forward to spring to see really what these guys are going to do for my front. I think it's really going to add that extra pop of white that I feel like gardens need. You know, you need that variety of color between darks and lights. That tall giant with the red flower, that is a canna lily. I'm going to keep that next to my house. I've heard a lot of people in a zone 7, like which I'm in, grow their canna lilies next to their house and they come back every year. So I'm going to do a little experiment. Here's another experiment actually. So these are all foxglove seedlings. I had a foxglove planted there that I had gotten from clearance, and oh boy, did it seed all over the place. So I have taken a few of these seedlings, transplanted them, but for the most part, that's just Mother Nature sprinkling herself all around. And well, I kind of helped. I did give it a lot of shaky shakes and the seeds went everywhere, but I wasn't sure what was going to happen because this is my first year that I ever grew a foxglove. So they are biannual. So I think that they're starting to like get roots now that they might actually bloom in spring. So we'll see. I'll keep you guys posted on that. But here are more of my elephant ears. Like, they're the jewel of my garden. They make me so happy. And look at this canna lily. I'm excited to see that experiment to see if it does last through the winter and then come spring if it starts growing again. In this area, we do have our water sprinkler filtration. I don't know if it's really filtered, but the pipes for the sprinkler are here. So I have there a pampas grass that I really can't wait for that to grow a little bit just to hide some of the pipes. And it's nice to have that long grass in there. This is my eyesore. This is the front left side of my house. It's an eyesore. I know it is. I apologize to my neighbors because this is not a pretty area to be showing, especially that I love gardening and this is the front of my house and this is what people say. So we had our driveway done about a year ago and a lot of volunteers just pop out of nowhere, which is great. But I know this little garden area is so sad. I'd like to do my vision for here is doing like an espalier with like some ivy, just because ivy it grows rampant in my area. And I think that would look really nice on this stock white PVC fence. I think that will be really nice. So this is a nice before little vignette of my front yard that is disgraceful. I'm so embarrassed of it. But you know what? I'm going to make it better. Come spring of next year, things are going to look a lot different. Not only are elephant ears just nice to look at, they're also really big to hide like the utility boxes, which I know you can still see them, but they kind of blind it a little bit. It kind of camouflages it just a little bit. So this is the front area where I did have a lot of my irises that I dug up, replanted a hydrangea, and then there's some foxglove seedlings. So we're just gonna see what happens. This is the front of my house. Here is the mailbox area. I did plant Shasta daisy seeds here in June at the same time that I did the ones that are by my front steps. I am going for a moon garden look here because I don't have one and I want one. I did plant some alliums. I know that that doesn't fall under the rules of a moon garden. So I did plant alliums all up in here, but everything else I'm going to keep white or silver, and that is what they say really defines what a moon garden is. So that's what I'm going to do. I have the Shasta daisies all on here. I think those are going to really take off come spring. And then I have a Brunner plant here that I had taken a little division from my parents' house, and when I first planted it, it did not look good, but now he's picking up some speed. He's looking a little better. This is a Montauk daisy here. I'd gotten this free from a garden tour that we had done of a mum farm, and they're supposed to be deer resistant, but I don't know if you saw that there are some nibbles taken out of there, so maybe the deer are getting hungry because yeah, they took some nibbles of it. This here is still the front of my house. The fence is just dividing. In the back is my shed there. And here are some irises that I planted here. I've only been gardening. This is my third year gardening. So everything is an experiment for me. Not really sure what works, what doesn't work, but I think this is going to be a good area for these irises here. I've taken you back into my backyard, and these are my window boxes. This, again, everything is trial and error. This was just some clippings of some Tradescantia zebrinas, which is also a wandering Jew. I just put a whole bunch of clippings in the window box, and they flourished. So I'm going to be doing this in my front of my house come September. And I love them so much, and they're so easy to propagate. So I'm giving it a little haircut right now because these will not last the winter. I might try to take the boxes off and then put them in my shed just to see if they will winterize, and maybe putting some like horticultural fabric on it to try to keep it a little warmer. But for right now, I'm just going to do some clippings because I know that these propagate so well. All you have to do is, well, pick them up off the ground once you cut them, and then take off the bottom leaves and then put them in water. It's as easy as that, and they'll root up within like 2 weeks. So I'm doing a collection just because, one, I want to have clippings of this and I can make other plants. You put 5 or 6 of them into a pot and you have a whole new plant right there that you can give away, you can keep for yourself. But I'm going to be rooting these up because my garden club is doing an exhibition for horticulture, and they are doing terrariums for the month of November. I have so many terrariums that I really want to stuff them up with some good hardy plants just so they look even more fabulous. And the Zebrina Tradescantia has that deep purple, which I think is lovely for the fall. So I'm really excited for that. It's as easy as that. And literally within 2 weeks, these are going to be rooted that I can either plant them right into my terrarium or put them in a nice pot and give them away. So look at this little table thing I made here. I found this medallion on the side of the road, totally free, put it on top of a little table that I had already had, and voila. And there is my birdhouse that I just made in my last video, so check that out. I also found that lamp on the side of the road and then made it into a birdhouse. This is my dahlia that I had gotten at my kids' plant sale, and I didn't know what color it was, and pleasantly surprised it's like a pinkish, purplish, lovely dahlia, and I will be winterizing those. There goes my son running by. Here is my banana plant that didn't do as great as I wish it would have, but it has 2 stalks there. I'm going to cut it down, winterize it, and save the bulb and plant it come September. And here are my other plants. They're looking really sad. This guy, this canna lily here, yeah, I'm just gonna have to winterize all of these coming up real soon because the first frost is expected for zone 7 around Halloween time. Here are marigolds. I really haven't done marigolds. Again, I've only been gardening about 3 years now, but my dad did some marigold seeds and his are doing fabulous. So I think I'm going to wait for those marigolds to go into seed, and I'm going to save them and sprinkle them around come spring. Here are some canna lilies that I grew from seed. They're not quite blooming just yet. I don't even think they're going to bloom, but see how it has a little bit, it wants to, but I don't think it's going to make it. The frost is coming and those are tropical plants. I know what you're thinking. It's really sad, this area. It's a lot of sad areas in my gardens, but you know what? It's only going to improve. So at least you're seeing this and I'm putting it all out there for you to see. So there's a lot of works in progress. This area is one of them. So I do have a lot of hostas here. I did plant some pampas grass to try to block out the neighbor's house a little bit, just so it's not so, hey, here I am, I'm your neighbor in your face. So this pampas grass here I had gotten from the clearance rack, I guess probably midsummer. It wasn't really looking too good, and now it's starting to come into its own, but it's a little too late. I mean, the frost is coming, and next year, I'm really being hopeful. Here is a salvia. It is an annual. I'm going to try to mulch it to make it last, but I don't know if it will. This is a perennial hibiscus. That, again, I'm so excited for spring new beginnings. It's going to be amazing. I'm very hopeful for spring because things are really going to spring into action, so to speak. I guess that was a little pun there. Here are the hostas that I had planted, not looking so good, but they're hostas. They're going to fare well wherever you put them because they are kind of known for being weeds. This is a Brunner that I had taken a little division from my parents' house, not looking too good. But again, I'm going to be hopeful for spring. Spring is in the air. This is my side woodland garden, and it's going to change. So I'm happy that you guys are all seeing it now because it's only going to get better and better, and I'm excited for that. It's hopeful. Fall is a great time to just let things just do their things and winterize anything that you need to winterize, but then even think about what you can do to try to improve. So here's one thing. I'm going to be spraying this is an annual hibiscus tree standard, and I'm going to spray it to just get rid of any kind of bugs because I am going to bring him inside during the winter. So I usually spray about like 3 or 4 days before I'm going to bring him in, just because I want to get any bugs that are on there off because I don't want them in my house. And the neem oil seems to work fabulous. I've been doing this for the past like 2 to 3 years, and I've had great success with it. I do this with my birds of paradise that were in the front of my house, and they did do great. So this is an annual salvia. I'm going to give it a little haircut, and then I'm going to put this in my shed where I do have a window, and I'm going to put horticultural fabric on it to try to see if it will last. Some people have said that, oh, you can just leave them outside, just mulch it up really good, but I don't know if I'm going to chance it. I'm going to give it a whirl in my shed and see what happens. Here are some foxgloves that I did transplant. I grew from seeds, and here they are. I just put them right into the garden here. And hopefully, since they are biannual, this will count as one season, hoping. And then come spring, they will bloom for me, because biannual, they have 2 years and that's it. And that concludes my garden tour. Thank you so much for watching. If you're still here listening to me, I greatly appreciate you. Thank you so much. If you're not already subscribed, maybe think about doing that. It helps me and my channel out. And if you give it a thumbs up, that also helps me. And I thank you for that in advance. I am Tracy. I am the Artsy Gardener. I am an artist. You can find my work in my Etsy shop, the Artsy Gardener 29. Thank you so much. And if you're not doing something artsy today, go out there in your garden and go do something.